Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing, and today we are taking a look at this Transformers the Movie, Studio Series 86. This is number 12, Coronation Starscream. Alright, so I'm going to warn you in advance, this is only going to be an unboxing video. I will not do a full review. Chances are I'm probably not going to transform it and go over the articulation, all that stuff. If anything, I'm just going to unbox it just to check out the contents. I'm sure if you really want to, you could go on YouTube and hunt down a full review. But for now, I just want to unbox it and check it out. For one, I'm kind of losing my voice, so I kind of want to keep this video a little bit on the shorter side. And number two, if you've watched my Transformer reviews, they're very painful to watch because I don't transform these toys beforehand. You know, whenever I unbox these and transform them, that's actually my first experience with the toy. So, you know, sometimes I fumble around and I can't, necessarily transform it very proficiently. So the videos drag on forever, and I kind of want to avoid that. So for this video, we're just going to unbox it, take a look at the contents, and it'll give you an idea of what's inside of here. So if you're on the hunt for this figure, or if it's something that you're kind of on the fence, this will give you a better idea of what to expect, and hopefully it'll better inform you so you can make that judgment on whether or not you need this figure in your collection. So let's get started. To begin, the box, it looks great. I love how there's a very awesome illustration of Starscream in his coronation outfit. You know, if you've seen Transformers, the animated movie, this is a very important scene, and for whatever reason, people just love Starscream with a crown. And over the last few years, whenever Hasbro gets a chance, they always include a crown with Starscream, and I think that's fantastic. I love how there's ramjet on the side and thrust. It's kind of cool. And on the side over here, nice close-up portrait of Starscream, and this is a leader class figure. On the other opposite side, again, same illustration. It looks great. And on the back of the box, so this is what really sold me on this toy. I saw this at the store, and at first I was kind of shying away from it. I thought it cost like $80, like Rodimus. But then when I checked it at the price checker, I think it was it might have been $49, I think. It might have been $49 or $59. I couldn't remember. All I remember is that it was cheaper than that Rodimus Prime figure. And I didn't buy that just because I remember when I price checked that, it was like $80. I'm like, there's no way this thing's worth $80. But I couldn't say no to this. It's a leader class Starscream. He comes with a crown. He comes with a cape. And I was even more sold on the fact that he has the throne. So I'm really excited about that. The figure looks fantastic. The Studio Series stuff is interesting because even though this is based off the movie, it's a little bit more embellished than how it looks like in the film. In the film, it's a much more cartoon design, but with this figure, the Studio Series, they really amp up the details. Either you like it or you don't. For me, I don't mind. But, with some of the figures that we've gotten in the Studio Series, sometimes you get a little kind of carried away with all the panel details and the scribe lines. But I think it's a nice addition. If I'm paying a lot of money for a figure, I want it to look nice. So yeah, let's get started and unbox this. Like I said, this is not going to be a full review. If anything, we're just going to check out the contents. And, if you feel kind of gypped, just go on YouTube and hunt down another content creator, because there's many great reviewers out there who will give you the full deal. But for me, I just want to check it out for now. And, if I find something interesting about it, I might do a follow-up video. But for now, we're just going to unbox it. Alright, let's get this guy out. Hopefully he's in robot mode. I don't really care much for the jet mode. I'm more a robot guy, so. Alright, one thing that kind of struck me as odd, I know they've been doing this more recently, but it's for me kind of strange buying a Transformer figure without having a clear plastic window on the box. to see what I'm getting. You know, I understand that they're trying to be more environmentally conscious, but at the same time, when I'm buying a figure like this and I can't see into the box, I'm always paranoid that, you know, this could be a returned item and someone like fig swapped it for like, you know, like a small like deluxe $10 Starscream and they stole the expensive one. But I bought this on day one of when my store stocked it, so I bought this with a little bit more confidence. Okay, so examining the contents, first off we have the cardboard backdrop. This is awesome. You know, if you have a nice display shelf, you know, this kind of gives you a nice backdrop and scene to create. I really think it's cool how Hasbro includes this with their toys. Mine's a little scuffed up on the bottom, but I don't mind. It doesn't bother me too much. But man, this is great. You know, if you have a nice display shelf, you know, and this will fit, this is perfect for that. Over here we have the instructions. Let's move this aside. Now, I'm very spoiled. I grew up in the 80s, and in the 80s we got those nice colored instructions where they use like photography and stuff. And I remember when they made the switch to like the black and white stuff, I hated it. This stuff is hard for me to always interpret. You know, they're not always the clearest things to make out. Okay, wait, I take it back. Back in the 80s, did we have color instructions with our Transformers, or am I just imagining that? Because I do remember that they also had black and white instructions, but for whatever reason, I think in the back of my head, for some reason, I kind of think they also had colored photography. So if your memory is better than mine, just leave a comment down below. I can't remember if we got color photography for the instructions in the 80s. But this looks simple enough. He's 27 steps for a leader class figure. Alright, there's that. And here's Starscream. Okay, now this is where I have an issue with the figure. Alright, so when I think of leader class, you know, the size classifications changed over the years. But, you know, maybe like 6 or 5 years ago, when you called a figure a leader class figure, you got something that was like twice this size. This, in my opinion, is roughly barely the size of like a Voyager figure from like maybe like 5 years ago. But, you know, I don't want to take away from it. The sculpting and the detailing is amazing. Now, this bothered me as a child. The fact that when you transform Starscream, the Decepticon symbols would be upside down. And I remember as a child, that bothered me so much that I took off the stickers on his wings and replaced them so that when he was transformed in robot mode, the Decepticon emblem would be, you know, properly right side up. So it always kind of bothers me that when he's in the robot mode that the symbol's upside down. Now let's adjust my lighting here so we get this guy lit a little bit better. There we go. Yeah, great detail. The face is amazing. In terms of this figure's height, like I said, he feels kind of short for a leader class figure. And he is. You know, this guy is under... He doesn't even make... He barely... Yeah, he doesn't even come in at 6 3/4. He's just shy below that. You know, it's kind of a... Oh, man, for the price I pay for this guy, it's kind of like, you know, a McFarlane superhero figure from their DC Multiverse lines, generally about 7 inches, and you're paying $19. And for a Transformer back in the day, $50 would get you a leader class figure that would be like twice this size and probably like 3 times as massive. But I don't want to take away from it. You know, the sculpting is fantastic. It looks great. I kind of wish I grabbed my other Starscreams because I'm not sure if this is just like reused from the other ones. And on the back, here's some of the accessories. We have his cape here, and there's like a paper baggie. I'm assuming it's his blasters and his shoulder pads. And then the one thing I do want to take out, just because I'm really curious about it, is the throne. For me, this was the big selling point. Yeah, this is great. Now, the throne by itself, I don't think is worth, $50, but this is a nice, solid piece of plastic. It looks awesome. I love how there's these additional sockets here. Let me grab the instructions. I think you might be able to use that as storage possibly for his weapons. Oh wow, that's fantastic. So yeah, you can for the throne on the back, you can store his crown, you can store his blasters, and you can even store his shoulders, and you can even store the cape on the back. So that's really cool. So here's like the completed thing. You can seat Starscream down, and at the same time you can keep all his accessories stored on the back of the throne. That is awesome. Yeah, so for me, I mean, it's a pricey fig, but I love this friggin' throne accessory. This is awesome. I love how it's asymmetrical in the design. Like the left half doesn't necessarily match the right half. Yeah, so this is great. If you want to see like Megatron or like Shockwave on here, go ahead. This is awesome. So yeah, I really wanted to check this out. This for me was the big selling point. I remember when I bought this and I was looking at the back of the box, part of me in my head thought that maybe this was a cardboard accessory that you had like fold and put together. But I'm glad I was so wrong on that. It's a nice, hard, solid one piece of plastic. I think it's one piece. And it's awesome. I love how you can store the weapons on the back and even the crown. And, shoot. I got the tape stuck on here. Just give me a moment. Alright, there we go. Right, so one thing I do want to take a look at, and see if it's feasible, if I could take it out. Let's see if I could take a look at the crown. I wouldn't mind checking out the crown. Alright, here's the cape if you're curious. There's a socket, it's off center, and it's hard plastic, it's articulated on hinges. I don't know how you feel about that, but I think it's alright. It's kind of weird, to be honest, but, I'm glad to at least have it. It's kind of neat. Alright, let's open up this thing. So this is weird. Hasbro's been doing this with like their other toy lines too. Instead of giving you a plastic baggie, they kind of give you this like tissue paper wrapping. And I don't want to necessarily mess it up, so I'm just going to cut through it. Okay, so what we get here, we have his shoulder pads. And I apologize, my hands are super dry. I was like building models and miniatures today, so I have all this like super glue on my finger that doesn't come off. I'm just like conscious about this because like one of my buddy's wife was watching my video and she commented once about how nice my hands were, but today they look like crap because they're all beat up. So yeah, these are the shoulder pads. They're articulated here, so this is where you So there's two different blasters. There's the longer blasters. You just attach these to Starscream like old school. But then if you're using the shoulder pads, you're gonna use these blasters here, which are a little bit shorter. As you can see, they're missing the tops, and then the tops will plug into the shoulders right here, like that. And then you just drape these over like Starscream's arm. So if you can imagine it, you know, it just goes over like this, and then these just hang over like that. Which is kind of cool. It's kind of cool that they thought about that. And over here is the crown. Let's get this into focus. The crown, it's a little bit shorter in terms of its design. Like the last Starscream crown I really kind of vividly remember is the Leader Class Combiner War Starscream, and that was actually like a real Leader Class figure. I'm like staring at it on my shelf right now, and I kind of want to grab it, but it's like on my Decepticon shelf, and it's like 4 rows back, so I'd have to like dig it. You know, I have like 15 figures in front of it if I wanted to grab it, but I don't want to reorganize that shelf right now. But yeah, for those of you that remember, the Leader Class Combiner War Starscream was gigantic, and that came with a crown also. Let's see how this one fits. All right, so I believe this end is the front, and then you just plug it in, and there you go. You have King Starscream. Newly minted leader of the Decepticons, albeit only for like less than a minute. Alright, so I think this is a wonderful purchase, but I do have my reservations about it. Alright, so the pros and cons. The pros. First one, the throne. I love the throne accessory. It's amazing. You know, there's storage on the back for all the accessories. It's great. A second plus is I love the fact that Starscream comes with his cape, his shoulder pads, and you know, they're thoughtful enough to actually give you 2 different sets of blasters depending on how you want to configure your Starscream. My biggest gripe is the fact that they call these figures Leader Class figures. You know, if you've been collecting Transformers for the last maybe like 15 years, you know, Leader Class was something, you know, they didn't always just throw around. You know, a Leader Class figure back in the day was a giant figure. It was like 2 to 3 times this size. You know, this is easily a Voyager Class figure from like maybe like 6 years ago. But yeah, it bothers me that they call this a Leader Class figure. But I don't want to take away from it. The sculpting in detail is beautiful. But it comes down to you. You know, is this worth, you know, the price of admission? You know, are these extra accessories worth it? For me, yeah, I can't turn away this throne. It's awesome. You know, the only other way I could find a Decepticon throne is if I either 3D print one or if I, you know, get a third-party accessory. It's cool that Hasbro is giving it to us. I mean, they're not giving it to us, but it's cool that, you know, it's something they designed and made, and it came with this figure. But at the same time, yeah, I have a big problem with this being considered a Leader Class figure, but it is in scale with the Studio Series stuff. So, all right. With that being said, once again, I apologize if you were looking for a full, deep review with featuring the articulation transformation. I'm sorry I can't really necessarily provide that. So just go onto YouTube and hunt one down. But if you're on the fence about this figure and just want to know the contents of it, I hope you found this video at least informative, and you know that it helps you with your buying decision. So with that being said, once again, my name is Lou. Thank you so much for checking out this video. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber or viewer, thank you so much for your continued likes, comments, and support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. All right, later.